Talkshow, where we redefine healthcare and discover more freedom in our lives. My name is Tanner Hobbs. I am the host, and I'm so excited to be back on with a new episode. So today, guys, I was gonna get all fixed up, and I was gonna have my back drop up, and I was kind of stressing about it, and I was I really need to get this episode recorded for them, and I didn't really have anything planned out besides the topic I wanted to talk about. And you know what? I was just sitting there and I was like, why am I stressing about this? One, this is a topic that I've lived out. This is something I've really struggled with. And I was like, I'm just going to show up for this episode just raw. I don't need to try to be this perfect human just because other people are doing it that way, or just because I think that you guys will like it better if I have this perfect setting and I'm all prepared and I have all these notes in front of me and all this kind of stuff. So this is raw, real, unedited, just a straight up episode of me talking about comparing yourself. So that's what today's episode 5 is: stop comparing yourself. But let's recap on the last episode. And we talked all about chasing freedom, and you guys know how deep that hits me. And it's since that episode, I'm like, the word freedom has popped up in my life so dang much. It's all over the place. And then I went to church, and then we're doing this 8-week series on freedom. And then today I pop in a podcast during my workout. Yes, I podcast during my workout sometimes. And that was on freedom, and it was the exact same verses from the Bible. And there's a lot in the Bible that's talking about finding freedom in Christ. And it was the exact same verse, and I was just like, whoa, when something clicks, man, and it's a God thing, it is just smacks you right in the face over and over and over again. So I'm just feeling really blessed. I feel like, what I'm basing my business around and the way that I'm showing up and the way I try to give to you guys is just really real, and it's in real time all the time. And it's exactly what I share with you is exactly what God puts on my heart. I don't try to overthink things like I used to as much. I don't try to put as much pressure on myself, because I know that the impact that I want to make in this world and that I feel like I need to make in this world, I know I can't do it. I know if I try to put that pressure on myself, I know I cannot do that on my own, and it has to be a God thing. So I'm rolling with the punches here. But anyways, let's get into today's episode titled Stop Comparing Yourself. And like I said in the beginning, I've struggled with comparisonitis. Comparisonitis? Is that even a word? I think I just made that up. But I have struggled with it a lot. And especially because I guess the industry I chose, and I was thinking about that. I was like, maybe it's not the industry I chose. I think it's like this everywhere, no matter which career path, no matter what's going on in our life. If we're in college, if we're a mom, if we work really hard, if we're retired, I feel like we're always, in all phases of life, you're somewhat comparing yourselves to others. You're influenced by others highly. And it's something that can really, really, really pull you away from the path that, you feel like you need to be on or you should be on. And it's just ugly sometimes, and it can get really, really dark, and it can lead to really bad habits and a really bad thought process. And you guys know what I think about thoughts. As soon as they get ugly, then we start to feel ugly, and our actions become incredibly ugly. So I think just talking to you guys about comparison and always trying to one up one another or run the scoreboard up, whatever you have it, it's just not the way to live. And I think it takes so much energy out of us to try and level up to people all the time. But it's hard too, because especially with social media and just the way the world is moving, you're constantly seeing people, share their next levels in life and share the new look and the new style and the new house and the new cars and the new job opportunities and the new babies and these perfect little families. And a lot of times on social media, that's what's displayed, these perfect lives, when behind the scenes, it's not perfect. And a lot of times we get caught up in that. We get caught up in how come they have it all figured out and we don't. And I know I've thought that so many times. And just to share a little bit of my story and where I struggle with this comparison problem is, well, when I first got into the industry, I thought I had to have this look. And it ate me alive. I actually just posted about this the other day. And I was choosing to go into this health and fitness industry. And because I was choosing that, I felt like I was choosing to have to look the part. And so I was obsessed with exercise and obsessed with nutrition, and I had my roller coaster of life. And if I didn't work out, then it would stress me out so much. And before softball games in college, I would get up at 6 a.m. and hide these workouts and sneak down to the gym in the hotel and get these workouts in, because if I didn't play, I wasn't going to get any movement in that day, and that would really stress me out. Mostly because I didn't have full control of my nutrition, so exercise was the only thing I felt like I had control of. And I was completely obsessed because I wanted to look the part of the career path that I was chasing so hard. And it was so consuming of my thoughts all the time. And I was on social media looking at people who were out of college and doing this fitness and health thing, and they were looking amazing, and they were doing all these bikini competitions, and it was just draining, and it sent me in a dark place, and it sent me way away from the Lord, and it had me question pretty much every aspect of my life. And because of that, I think it was truly because of the comparison problem that I had. I wasn't in the best relationships, and I was staying in them for the wrong reasons, and I was just making not so hot choices on the weekends, and just wasn't pleasing the Lord because I was trying to please people all the time. And it just was not the way that I wanted to live. And I shared with you guys when that shift was, when I got out of college and I got out of that relationship, and I was kind of on my own, and it was like, okay, here's life. What path do I take? And I went straight back to the Bible, straight back to God. And ever since then, my life has completely changed. And comparison is still something I struggle with to this very day. And I catch myself in it, but I'm able to catch myself earlier. And it's a really nice feeling, because I'm not saying that you're never going to compare yourself to someone ever again if you trust God and trust that He's got you, and that you're perfectly and beautifully and wonderfully made just the way you are. I'm not saying you're never going to fall into that trap, because Satan is always going to be on that other side and talking in your ear, and you're going to be tempted a lot. But when you have God in your heart and in your soul and in your mind, and you're constantly pursuing Him, and you're constantly, with every thought and every action you do, you're asking yourself, am I influenced by God, or am I influenced by others? And if you're constantly asking yourself that, then the actions you start to take and the way you feel are going to start to change. And when you do feel comparison slip into your life and start to pull you down, you're going to be able to stand right back up and stand firm in God, because He is so much stronger than the temptations of this world, and He's already overcome all that. So that's kind of my take on comparison. It's one of those things that there's not a list of actions that I can tell you to sit here and take that are going to necessarily get you out of that comparison hole. I think it's something that you have to start to recognize. And if you don't recognize that you're in that trap, there's no way that you're going to be able to see the light. It's going to keep sucking you in further and further. And I think one of the best things you can do is, if you struggle really bad with I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but if you struggle with comparing yourself to others, the best thing you can do is get away. Get away from the social media for a little bit. Step away from those thoughts and where those thoughts start to occur. Is it an environment that you're putting yourself in where you're feeling like you're comparing yourself to others? Or is it just scrolling through the social media? Or is it at work when you're having these conversations? Or is it with your husband when you're watching TV, or stuff like that can be very tempting too? Is to step away from those environments, because if it's not working right now for you, if what you're doing is not working and you're constantly really, really struggling with comparing yourself to others, you have to make changes. You absolutely have to make changes. You can't expect this miracle to just happen tomorrow and you to stop thinking that way when you're putting yourself in those same environments and the same habits. So changing those habits is crucial. And some of the ways that I would recommend you changing those habits, and some of the things that have really helped me, is one, just like really stop scrolling through Instagram. I know I am on Instagram. I am somewhat of an Instagram influencer in a way, but I am not on there scrolling very much at all. Honestly, hardly at all anymore. I'm not on there scrolling, only because I know it's a trap for me sometimes, and I know I start to compare myself, and I've recognized that habit multiple times in a row, and I had to change that. Something I do scroll on, and something that's really motivating for me, is when I search things in Pinterest. So Pinterest is just a search engine, and I'll search things on there that really just inspire me, like quotes and future house ideas and workouts and recipes and styles of clothing that I want to try or something, or makeup or whatever it is, all the girly things. But I'll get on there and start looking at things that really inspire me, and they're fun, and they make me smile, and they don't just pull me down. They motivate me very much. And a lot of the times the things on there, because what you search starts to pop up on there, it's a lot of Jesus stuff. It's a lot of just like kind words. It's filled with a lot of good. Whereas when I go to Instagram, it's just like a visual picture app pretty much. I mean, you can read the captions, but the first thing you see is those pictures. And if I scroll and I'm seeing a bunch of extremely fit women, because I do follow a lot of fitness accounts, over and over and over again, day after day after day, like eventually that's going to get in my head. And I know that. So just changing those habits, stepping away, having that morning routine without your phone anywhere near you, with just you and your journal and your Bible and some good music or something playing. That is like the best time in the world where you can really set intentionality for the day. And it took me, guys, I can remember sitting there journaling about asking God and praying to God to help me not compare myself, to help me accept who I am, exactly who I am today, and that I'm right where I need to be, and that I'm only going to continue pursuing God and continue to love myself more like He loves me. And that was a journal thing that I wrote so much, that God, please help me to not let others influence me, and let me be highly influenced by you every single day, because your influence on me is going to start to influence others. And that's the kind of influence that I want to have on this world. So that's kind of what I've done in order to shift that mindset. And that's the thing, is it's definitely a mindset shift, and it's an acceptance thing. It's accepting who you are. Even if you want to lose 20 pounds, or even if you want a different job and you hate your job, or even if you're wanting to find the man of your dreams or have kids or whatever it is, if you're wanting all these things, then you just have to accept you're at today, right where you're at. You're here for an amazing reason. And while you may not see it yet, I promise you, and God has promised you, that everything is going to be okay. And He has you so wrapped up in His arms if you just truly have full faith in Him. And He will start to pull you away from those nasty thoughts that are the devil trying to pull you down. And He will save you from that. And He will let you feel freedom from comparing yourself to others all the time if you truly just have full faith in it and start to change your habits and change your thoughts and change your actions and all those kind of things. Because comparison will take joy right out of your life. It will pull that joy out of you, and it will just completely depress you. Like anxiety and depression will creep in quicker than you can even say the words. And I just want to save you guys from that. And I want you to know that I have struggled with it, and I still feel temptation a lot with comparing myself to others, especially in my work world. And it's not a good place to be. It's not a fun place to be. And I don't like feeling like, thankful for the body that I do have, and the mindset that I do have, and the work that I do have, and the clients that I do have right now. Like I just need to live in that thankful mindset, because that's going to lead me to live a life full of joy, and comparing myself to others is going to be the complete opposite of that. And I don't want to live a life like that. And I'm choosing not to live a life like that, because that is not the kind of life that my God has intended for us to live. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I hope some of this hit home with you. If you do struggle with comparing yourself to others, just give this video a heart or a thumbs up if you enjoyed this and if I said a couple things that really clicked with you and where you're gonna take some more action in your life to step away from that and accept who you are today, because you're amazing. You are so dang amazing, and you have so much potential in your life that you have no idea. The life that you have ahead of you, you can't even fathom what's going to happen, because God has big plans for you, and you just have to believe that. But I love you guys so much. Don't forget to screenshot that you're watching this and post it on your social media, because like I said, the only way that more people are going to find out about this talk show is if you share it with others, and I'm sharing with others, and we're all chit-chatting about it. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.